Yo, what's up, guys? So I'm gonna tell y'all a story of how I survived when I was bleeding out. Hold on a second. This story is very crazy. So, when I was younger, it was probably about, what was it, like 11th grade, 12th grade or so. I was at a football game and I was hanging out with my homies and so forth. And something went south. Um, One of my friends owed someone money or something. I didn't know who these guys were. We were beefing with a whole bunch of people. And I was at the football game, and it was kind of like close to about halftime. I'd say it was probably the second quarter of the football game. And three people come up to me and they say, "Hey, Jay." That's what I used to call him, like J or JT or whatever. They're like, "Hey, someone's looking for you, blah, 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 watch your back." I didn't think much of it. I had a few homies with me at the game, so I wasn't too worried, but I know that I had a few arch enemies. They were a few of these Mexican dudes. We were kind of having issues. You got to understand, I grew up, you know, like I had said off the first part, when I told my untold story. Well, this is kind of part two to it of kind of like issues in the street life. But what happened this night was this was a near death experience that I want to share with y'all. So it gets to halftime, right? I caught up a few more homies of mine, and I'm leaving. I'm leaving at halftime, right? Gotta understand, there's a parking lot full of cars, right? Everybody's there to watch the football game, and I'm walking out. They let you go if you. They give you like 30 minutes. You're allowed to go back in. They give you like a stamp or something, and they'll stamp you again. You're only able to go out of the football game area once, and then you're able to come back in. So they'll stamp you once, and then once you get your second stamp, that's it. You can't go back in or so forth. At least where I was at for my, like for where I was watching a football game at. But all right, getting on to the story. So I'm walking out, right, in the parking lot. Some dude, he's got like a blade, like a fucking, I don't know how big the knife was or whatever. And he was coming from the back of me while I'm walking like straight forward to my buddy. And I kind of started seeing him like, like waving his hands and so forth and all this shit. And I was like, what the fuck's going on with this dude? Is he tweaking or some shit? And I think I had my headphones in. I don't know what, music's such a big and powerful thing to me. I always had my headphones or something on me. I wasn't paying attention. And this dude's coming up from the back with a knife. What's crazy is, thankfully I was able to get in front of my friend. Dude comes around the car. I was wearing a big old jacket, kind of like a snow jacket, kind of like similar to what I'm wearing now. Thankfully, I didn't have it zipped up, though. I had it unzipped. So a dude comes from the back, slices me once, kind of like on the rib area. And my body went into shock. I was in shock before I even knew what was happening. And my buddy in the front of me kind of pushed me. And next thing I know, he comes around and slices me like twice. So I got dabbed up once in the rib, like stomach, not stomach, but like, I don't know. It's kind of weird how he did it. Like he kind of came in forward and yeah, he got me good, and you gotta understand, I was bleeding. I was bleeding out, bad. I was in such shock though. Me and my three homies that I was meeting outside in the parking lot, we just ran. We didn't have anything on us. Like, we weren't expecting that trouble was gonna come that quick. But prior to what had happened, I'm not gonna go diving into what happened. But one of my buddies owed someone money. I don't know much on it. All I know is I was there and present that day, so I was one of those people that they had an eye on. So they like literally felt like they put a hit out on me that night. And what ended up happening is we were able to like push the dude off. Thankfully, I had a couple people with me. Here I am. I'm bleeding out. We're running. I got blood coming, blood like a blood trail, literally. I don't know how bad it was. I was bleeding out so bad, but I was in such shock. You got to understand. Like, think about if you were to get shot, right? And it wasn't in like an area that could kill you instantly. You know what I mean? Like, obviously, shock is gonna come into. It's probably what saved my life. I mean, other than my like two or three buddies that I was meeting up in the parking lot. So we ended up running through like some apartment building complexes near the school, like the high school or whatever that we were at for the football game. And yeah, we look around the corner, we're seeing people, probably they're living around the apartment building complex. And I'm like, I look at my buddy, I'm like, bro, I'm bleeding out. I'm going to fucking die. So we end up at this gas station right across from the apartment. And walk in there, and friends screaming, "Where's the fucking bathroom? Where's the fucking bathroom?" You got to remember, too, they're going and calling the cops. They ain't really trying to show me where the fucking bathroom is. You know what I mean? Buddy goes not over the counter, but he goes up to the counter. He says, "Give me the fucking keys. We got to get this motherfucker in the bathroom. He's bleeding out." Yada, yada. They're like, "What happened? What happened?" We didn't go too much into detail. Just, I don't know. I found, they made up something. I found him, whatever. He was bleeding in the parking lot, blah, blah, blah. They gave us the keys, went in there, and they gave us some paper towels, started bandaging myself up and so forth. And you got to remember, I'm still bleeding out. All I'm doing is putting pressure on it to not bleed out and die. So one of my buddies was like, "Let's go back to that same apartment that was near the thing." He's like, I don't know if it was his mom, like one of my buddy's mom, or if it was his mom's friend or someone, but they like stitched me up. Like, it was only a few stitches, but I couldn't go to the hospital because you gotta understand, like, they're gonna question and they're gonna ask who and all this shit. Motherfucker, even if I knew who, I wouldn't tell you. You know what I mean? Like, that was just part of the game. You know what I mean? Like, so, yeah, we get to that house, right? And they're bandaging me up, like, properly and so forth. Remember, I had this big old gauze thing. As soon as they, like, had stitched me up, I was sliced up around the arm area pretty bad, too. So I was bleeding. They put some antibiotic shit on, and I lost a lot of blood. I ain't gonna fucking lie. It was a pretty good amount considering we were hiding at an apartment building complex while I'm bleeding out for almost 15 minutes. Plus all the issues of the paper towels at the gas station being so like light in material. It was so hard to put pressure on. I mean, we literally had to use that whole fucking roll. They gave us a whole roll and we went, dude, like the whole roll, and that's fucking crazy. You know what I mean? So, stitched me up and so forth. And I remember I didn't let my family know. I didn't want them to know. What happened. I ruined a jacket though, fucking expensive ass jacket. It's a nice ass jacket. That motherfucker got sliced up though. That jacket had a hole right through it, and I ended up, I think my buddy had some clothes or something, so I ended up coming home to like a whole brand new outfit. I'm like, my buddy got me this, yeah, you know. Here I am though with a circle of blood still on the brand new clothes. You know what I mean? They got 3 or 4 of my other homies though that were at the football game, so I wasn't the only one who was targeted that night. I had a pretty good idea of what it was over. Not gonna dive into it, but you know it's crazy that I survived that. You know, just you know, one thing that I could say from the story is like look at life. You know what I mean, and look at it in a good perspective. Don't take life for granted. Don't fuck people over. You know what I mean? Because karma really can happen. And it happened to me that night. And I wasn't even the motherfucker who did this shit to these motherfuckers. Like, I was just, you know, there for backup or whatever. I guess you could say I was part of it. But, you know, you stay true to your homies, you know what I mean? And really, I got to thank my friends that night that saved my life, because I wouldn't be here today if they wouldn't have been there. Because you got to think at halftime. I mean, how many people are really leaving at halftime? You know what I mean?